My hair is as questionable as these concealer shades. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today it's happening. Just came back from the Morphe store right now. Picked up the new Morphe Fluidity full coverage foundation and the concealer. A ton of you guys wanted me to review it, so here I am. Also, I was very intrigued in trying it anyway, so here we are. This has already launched. I did buy mine in store. You can also buy it online, obviously. I don't like buying complexion products online, especially because I have the weirdest undertone where like sometimes the undertone that I think I am isn't what I really am. Especially with the foundation that I picked today, I definitely, if I would have bought that online, I wouldn't have picked the one that I picked. Just give you guys some information really quick before I apply this. Very excited to try the foundation. I swatched them on my face when I was color matching myself at the Morphe store, and it seemed pretty nice. Like, I just swatched it like in this area and it seemed nice. The thing that is scary to me is the concealer. I haven't watched too many reviews on the foundation or the concealer because I wanted to kind of have my own opinion on it and not like base my opinion off of like what I've seen in other videos, but I did. It's kind of hard to like avoid these videos because that's pretty much all that's been uploaded the last like 2 weeks, I would say. So I think I watched like 3 videos. I watched Jackie's, I watched Alyssa's, and I think I watched Nicole Concilio's. Yes, and I think that's it. I haven't watched anybody else's, I don't think. From what I've heard and seen, the concealer is kind of the problem, but I don't know. So let me give you some information. I picked up, in the foundation, I picked up the shade F 1.90, and in the concealer I picked up C 1.35, which wouldn't have been the concealer that I would have chosen, but it was pretty much the only option. The F 1.90 is described as a light with neutral green undertones. Like I said, that was definitely not going to be the choice of foundation I would have picked, but it was pretty much a good match when I swatched it on my face. It was between that or the F 1.80, which was the warm, light with yellow undertones. This one is an olive. I feel like I probably could have worn either one. The warm one was just like a tad bit more yellow, and I could kind of see like between that and like my neck, it definitely looked a lot more yellow. So we went with this one. The concealer, this one is described as a neutral. It's C 1.35, and honestly, it looked pretty light when I swatched it, but the other ones that were in there were super orange or way too peachy or too dark for my under eyes, and it was like darker than my foundation. So I also want to mention, I don't think you can probably see it on camera. I barely could see it in my house, but when I was outside, the concealer stained my hand, which is concerning. So that's great. I can't give you some information about the foundation. I'm not going to go too much into it because I feel like if you're watching this video, you probably already know about the foundation and stuff, but it is available in 60 shades. The shade range look really nice in store. Again, some of the undertones are questionable, but it's 24-hour long wear, sweat-proof, transfer-resistant, water-resistant, free of oils, fragrance, and parabens, great for all skin types. I've heard that this foundation is super matte, so I'm going to be wearing a hydrating primer today. A concealer, it is described, it has 31 shades, which again, I don't know. The shade range for the concealers was very strange. I don't know. That was the one that really was weird to me. But this is 16-hour long wear, sweat-proof, transfer-resistant, water-resistant, same as the foundation. Ophthalmologist tested? I don't know what that means. Creamy AF, full coverage concealer, can multitask like a mofo. Okay. The foundation was $18 and the concealer was $9. You obviously can use a code online and in store. The foundation has 1 fluid ounce, which is typical for foundation. That's pretty much like all foundations. And it comes in a squeezy tube, which I don't mind. I actually like squeezy tube foundations. I feel like you get the most product out of the packaging like that. And then for the concealer, there is 0.15 fluid ounces in comparison. My favorite concealer, which is the Colourpop concealer, which has 0.14 ounces. So you get 1.01 ounce more in the Morphe one, which is $3 more. As you guys can see, this concealer is pretty light, but we will get to that afterwards. Just go ahead and get into it. I have moisturized my skin, and I'm gonna apply my Smashbox Hydrating Primer. I have used this primer. Oh, by the way, I didn't pick up any of the primers or the setting powder. To be honest, I don't care for pressed setting powders and stuff like that, so I didn't pick it up. And I have 5 million primers, so I just was going to use my own. This is the Smashbox Hydrating Primer. I have used this with pretty much every single foundation I own, and it works fine with all of them. So I don't see why it wouldn't work with this one. In my channel, my skin is normal to dry. Right now, it's like combo. It's pretty like dry in some areas, but it's pretty normal everywhere else. First shade reference, I am 190 in Fenty. I am Golden Light in Milk. I'm 250 Warm Bisque in Lancome Tint Idol, whatever. In Milani, I mix 02 and 02A. I will leave any shade references down below. Like I said, this is the one with olive green undertones, and it looked like a pretty good match in store. I'm gonna apply this with a damp sponge. This is just the Makeup Shack sponge, so I'm just gonna start off pretty lightly. Oh, this looks pretty light on camera. Whatever. By the way, I want to mention that I asked at the Morphe store, like, if I didn't like it, if I could return it and stuff, and they said yeah. So if I don't like this, I can return it, or I can probably switch it out for another shade. Maybe I'll pick up the warm one like I thought. I don't know, it was between those two. It was kind of hard to tell, but I don't know. We'll see. Maybe with bronzer and stuff, like once that's on, but so far it's applying pretty nicely. Taking a little bit at a time because I don't know like how full coverage, I look so light. I don't know how full coverage this is, but so far I'm just kind of taking a little bit at a time and blending that out, and it's kind of giving me medium coverage at this point, which I like. So I feel like on camera I look way lighter than I do in person. Oh my god, I look like a ghost. But honestly, I feel like it looks pretty good. Besides this color, I don't think the color was right. It looks pretty good from afar. Let me get a closer mirror. It looks a little dry around my nose, but other than that, like, I feel like on the skin it doesn't look too bad. But definitely on, I don't really care for it around my nose. My nose kind of looks really dry, even with moisturizer and a hydrating primer. Okay, so this has been kind of sitting on my face for like 5 minutes. To be honest, I actually think the foundation looks pretty good. I did not have high expectations for this foundation just because I have heard such mixed reviews, but like I said, I wanted to kind of go into this with open mind because I have heard kind of both things. This does dry down matte. Definitely. If you do have more drier skin, I definitely would say a hydrating primer and prepping beforehand is crucial because it definitely is matte. That's a long wearing full coverage foundation, but to me, like, I feel like you can probably build it up because I took a little bit at a time and built it up, and it looks like pretty medium. Like, I can tell with the foundation with my freckles, which I can see still. Like I said, I like that, so I don't mind it. This color match on camera, I feel like I look pretty light, but in person, it looks like a pretty good, perfect match. In stores, I would say that if you have a Morphe store near you, get it in stores because I feel like it's easier to find your shade there than like buying it online. I know a lot of people don't live near a Morphe store. Personally, if it was like far away from me, I wouldn't like drive just to go get a foundation, but thankfully I live like 10 minutes away from a Morphe store, so it's convenient. Even in stores, like everything's lined up. It's separated by like light, medium, tan, deep, rich, and whatever the other sections are, it's like sectioned off, and each foundation shade has like the description on the bottom, which I thought was very helpful. Again, the descriptions are online, but I just feel like it's easier to find foundation shades and stuff like that in person. It's 11:45 right now, so I've had this on for like 5 minutes, so I don't see anything going wrong other than my nose looks a little dry, but not anything that's like I'm taking this off. You can kind of see my pores a little bit, which is a little weird because I don't have very visible pores at all. My pores are very small, so I usually don't ever see them in foundation, but maybe if I used a pore filling primer, I don't even think I have a pore filling primer because that's never an issue for me, but it's not like too bad. It's more so like around my nose than anything around here. Like around here it's not too bad, but around my nose I can kind of see it. Doesn't look that great there. With the concealer, which I'm scared for the concealer. And my hair, it's raining outside. It's been raining outside for like 5 days. My hair's frizzy. It's a mess. And I don't care enough to style it or do anything. Watch this. Like I said, this is the shade C1.35. And this was the closest concealer that I would say that would probably work for me. The one that was like after this was super dark and it was kind of weird. So I'm going to swatch this next to my Colourpop concealer, which is my perfect concealer shade. This is, my Colourpop one is light 18, so this is the Colourpop one, and this is the Morphe one. And this one's described as a neutral, a light neutral, I think. It definitely looks a little light, but maybe with this foundation, because this foundation is a little bit lighter than I normally would go. So I'm gonna do one eye at a time. I'm gonna keep it real with you. If this looks like trash, I'm taking it off. I'm not gonna wear it through the day. I do like the applicator. It is a flat paddle kind of applicator. Scared. So I'm taking a little bit first and see how that goes. Oh, that looks light. And I'm blending it out again with a damp sponge. It's pretty light, but again, this was like probably the only concealer that, oh my god, it looks so light. It's like the only concealer that would have worked for me, to be honest. Like, I don't think any of the other ones would have worked. So I'm just kind of taking the other side that had like leftover foundation to kind of just blend that together. It doesn't look that bad. This is definitely not a concealer shade that I would use. It's definitely too light and I feel like it's accentuating my dark circles. I'm gonna add a little bit more right there, but it's way too light. Just blending the edges with whatever was left on the concealer. Okay, this concealer, no, absolutely not. It is sinking into my pores. It looks so dry. I have it side by side with the concealer and then with the foundation. The foundation looks good, honestly. I don't think the foundation looks bad. The concealer, on the other hand, I do not like. I don't know if I doubt you'll be able to see it on camera. I'll film it with my phone camera because maybe that will show it a little bit better. So let me see if it'll show up on camera, but it looks so dry and it's like sinking into my pores around here, and then around my nose it just looks horrendous. So around my nose where I kind of blended it into that area, because I always kind of do that with my concealer. Definitely don't like this concealer, and I think it's making the foundation look worse when in reality I feel like the foundation actually looks pretty good. So I'm going to take it off and redo my foundation on this side. That's why I wanted to do one eye at a time, because I felt like this was going to happen, and it did. So I'm going to take this side off and redo my foundation over here, and then we'll come back and see. I will try it with my Colourpop concealer because that concealer usually works with everything. So I just took that off and then reapplied it. Yeah, that concealer is just not it. I knew, I had a feeling just when I felt the formula in store that it just was not going to be for me. I'm super picky with concealers, and I don't need to wear it for a long time to know if a concealer is going to work for me or not. I pretty much can tell right off the bat if a concealer is going to work for me or not, and that one was not going to. I'm just going with my Colourpop concealer. Ugh, I knew this was going to happen too. The Colourpop concealer is a little bit warmer than the foundation. Another lighter Colourpop concealer, so I'm just going to mix that into it. See, like, I feel like that just looks so much better, and it's not making the foundation look worse, which the concealer just was making the foundation look bad. Used to my Colourpop concealer, I know it works for me, and I just like that formula a lot, and I can already see, I will pull up my phone and kind of show you guys what it looks like now with the Colourpop concealer. This is what it looks like with the Colourpop concealer just blended out right now. I feel like it looks so much smoother and better, and it's not drying out my under eyes and looking weird. Still kind of feel like the foundation is sinking into my pores, which is strange because I've never had this problem before. But I feel like it's not that apparent. It's only if I'm like looking super close up, but it's also kind of settling into my smile lines. But again, I've mentioned this before, that is like my #1 problem, and I'm used to it. It's just, it happens with every single foundation. It's not anything new. I'm gonna go ahead and finish up the rest of my makeup. I also just bought, while I was there, because I've been wanting this, the 35M palette. It's the one with like those olive and like green colors in there. So I'm gonna use that probably today. Now it is 11:59, so I've had this foundation on for about 15 minutes at this point. Like probably once I'm done with my makeup, I'll be able to see like if anything has changed or look worse or anything. But at this point right now, I like it. So I'm back. It is 12:35 right now, so it's been on for like what, like half an hour, I think. I don't even remember at this point. I just want to say the real winner in this video is the Morphe 35M. Oh shit. It's this palette with all the greens and stuff. Wow, this palette is so good. I love it. Palettes with like greens and stuff. This is the palette for you. I only bought that palette for the greens, so I'm pleasantly surprised with that. Torn because I actually do like the way the foundation looks, with the exception of my nose. It's really dry, and I haven't done like a mask in a while. I usually use the Glam Glow Super Mud to kind of take out all my clogged pores and blackheads and stuff like that. And I can see all of that. Also can kind of see the foundation settling into my pores in this area, which is strange because, not to sound like, oh, my skin's so nice, but I do have pretty good skin and my pores are never apparent. Like, I have pretty small pores. I need to see them with the foundation is a little weird. I'm like torn because I feel like the rest of my face looks good. It is kind of dry around my mouth. I just think it's too matte. That's the problem. And I do have more normal to drier skin, so it is kind of accentuating the dryness. But I feel like the rest of my face looks good, so I feel torn, and I'm kind of like in the middle of like I do like it and I don't at the same time. The color is really good. Everywhere except for like this area looks good. Like, I like the way it's sitting on my skin. Maybe if I spray it with like Fix Plus, sprayed my face, because I feel like it's just a little too matte for my skin. But I do normally like matte foundations, so I'm kind of like in the middle. I feel like that kind of helped a little bit. Like, it doesn't look as dry around my mouth anymore. 12:40, so I've had this on for like about an hour at this point. I'm gonna wear this through the day. I feel like now, once I added bronzer and stuff, I feel like the color looks really good. I was so scared that it was gonna look green, even more so that I was wearing green eyeshadow. But I feel like the color match looks really good. We'll check in through the day. From afar, my skin looks really good. I was not expecting to like the foundation. I honestly was like expecting to just take it off. So I'm pleasantly surprised at this point. Check in a couple hours and see how the foundation is looking. So I wanted to do a little check-in really quick. Right now it is 4:35, so this has been on since 11:45, I think. I don't even remember anymore. But it's been on for like 5 hours. It is kind of breaking up a lot around my chin. It has settled into my smile lines here, and it's kind of broken up around my nose. I do feel like adding the Fix Plus earlier helped a lot, especially when it came to like the dryness around my nose and stuff. It didn't look as dry anymore with the Fix Plus, so if you have a little bit more drier skin, I would say that definitely helps. It's breaking up a lot around my chin, so I want to see if I do this, like take my sponge from earlier and kind of like, actually let me show you guys up close first what it looks like. I just film it with my phone because my camera won't focus, so I'll show you guys up close like what it looks like. I feel like around my mouth it looks pretty bad. Like really torn because I feel like the rest of my face looks really good, but like just that area. So I'm gonna take my sponge and see. Okay, so that kind of helped a little bit. The dryness around my nose definitely went away. When I was taking pictures earlier, I felt like my skin looked really good. I've mentioned this before in other like foundation reviews and stuff, that like this area of my face is really dry and it's my problem area. So like I'm not surprised that a matte foundation is doing this, but I don't know, like I feel like when I look from far away, my skin does look really good. I even asked like my mom and my dad earlier and I was like, what does my skin look like? Does it look good? And they both said it looked good. I feel like the color match looks really good. Honestly shocked that I like it this much, and then I'm actually torn between not liking it and liking it because I went into this thinking that I was gonna hate this foundation. That's like my little check-in right now. We'll check in with you guys later on. Alright, it is time. I feel like I don't need to wear this foundation any longer to give my final thoughts on it. Right now it is 7:20 p.m. I thought this was a 12-hour wear. This is 24 hours, and I don't know who's wearing foundation for 24 hours. Not I, Miss Bitch, not I. The rest of my face I actually really like, but this area right here, it looks just like how it did earlier. If anything, it looks kind of worse, just a little bit. It definitely didn't get like better or anything. Know if how this would work with a, like, let's say the Herborian primer that I always use. I feel like I wouldn't use this primer with this foundation because the foundation is so matte and it was pretty dry that I don't know how it would work with this, but this is like my favorite primer right now and it works with a lot. So honestly, I might wear the foundation again with that primer and see how it works. But for this one, I feel like maybe this, I don't know if that has something to do with it. I don't know how I feel. Like, I feel very indecisive about this foundation. Like, I feel like I don't hate it, and I feel like I've definitely tried worse foundations, but there's obviously better foundations out there. Let me talk about like the pros and cons. Pros: color match. I think everywhere else except for my mouth area and my nose looks great. I really like it. I like that it was medium, and I feel like you could probably build it to full coverage. So I like the coverage on it. The cons would definitely be it is very matte. So if you have dry skin, I would definitely stay away from this foundation. I don't think it'll work for you. Another con is I feel like the price is a con to me. For me, this feels like a drugstore foundation. Find foundations like Milani, L'Oreal, Colourpop. If I find that I can find foundations that work for me like that, I know what to consider Morphe. Like, I don't consider Morphe drugstore, but I also don't consider it high-end or anything like that. Like, 18 is a little up there. I felt like maybe $15 would have been a good price. I feel like 18 is kind of pushing it, to be honest, and I still feel like 18 isn't that expensive. Like, obviously it's not like $30, $40. I try to make it between like 15 and 20. 18 was like a middle area there, but I don't know, I feel like 18 is a little up there. I would have settled for like maybe $14 or $15. I'm gonna see what I can do about this area, so I am gonna try it again, and once I do, I will update you guys in the description box. The concealers, I hated it. I did not like the concealer. I think it made my under eye look super dry. I feel like it made the foundation look worse, because after I took it off, I felt like the foundation didn't look that bad. The colors for the concealers were very strange. This was the closest thing I could find, and it was too light for me, and the one right after this was super orange. I felt like there was not enough like attention paid to the concealers. It was mostly focused on the foundations. The foundations also like were kind of weirdly set up as well. Like, I don't know, a lot of shades. I'm not going to speak on the deeper shades. Jackie Aina, I saw her video and she said it best, you know, quality over quantity. If there is 60 shades but like the shades aren't great, then it really doesn't matter how many shades there are if the undertones and stuff aren't correct. The concealers just were a no. I would definitely pass. This is $9, and the Colourpop one, in my opinion, is my favorite concealer, and that's only $6. So skip this concealer. It is not good in my opinion. Foundation, again, I feel very indecisive about it. Obviously, in times where I want my makeup to look best, I probably wouldn't reach for this, but this probably is the best shade match I have found in a foundation. But I think upon application, the foundation looked really good, and I loved the way it looked on my skin. As time went on, I definitely think something happened in this area, and yeah, I would say if you have dry skin, just skip the foundation. I feel like you will not like it, and I feel like it'll pick up on dry patches. Normal skin, I think maybe give it a try. Oily skin, I feel like you probably will like this foundation. Like I said, at the Morphe store, they did tell me that if I didn't like it, I could return it with my receipt. I'm not sure how the returns work for online because I haven't ever needed to return anything that I bought from Morphe online, but I have returned at the store before, and they have returned it no problem. For the foundation, and the experience in store was a lot better and probably less stressful than I would have been like shopping for it online. I just personally don't like to buy complexion products online because usually I don't like, my undertone is really weird. Like I said, I would have never picked the one that had green undertones because I would have never thought that that would have matched me, but it turns out that that was the one that matched me the best. Pretty much my thoughts on it. I know it's kind of not very like I hate it or I love it. I kind of don't really know where I stand with it. If anything, I say I like it more than I hate it. That's saying a lot. I'm not over here like trying to kiss Morphe's ass. I really don't care that much. I'm not on Morphe's PR. I don't really care. I have no reason to like lie and say that I like it. If anything, I thought I was gonna actually hate this foundation considering the videos I did see on it. Hope this video was somewhat helpful for you. I say if you want to try it out, try it. If you don't want to try it and you're kind of just like don't really care, I don't feel like you'll be missing out if you skip on it. that's how I feel about it. I will leave any shade references and stuff in the description box down below. If you liked this video, if you did, make sure to give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe if you're not subscribed already, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.